Hi, everybody. Meteorologist Joe Cioffi here. Weather in 5 days in 5 minutes. Brought to you by Omni True Value Hardware at 1226 North Wellwood Avenue in West Babylon, New York. 631-756-1125 is the telephone number for the best prices in town. They're in southwest Suffolk County on Long Island, and they service the entire New York, New Jersey, Connecticut tri-state area. With everything you need to make sure your home looks good, is working well, and is safe and can protected in case we have adverse weather. The website is omnitruevalue.com. Let's get through the local weather first, and then we'll do the tropics and look at Fiona and then the next system that we're watching in the Eastern Caribbean. The cold fronts move through, and skies actually are partially clear. They're clearing out in eastern Pennsylvania and northern New Jersey as of 3:30 this afternoon, and also in the Hudson Valley. And you'll notice the big change in temperature and humidity as the showers and thunderstorms are moving out to the east. You can see Fiona is approaching Bermuda. And you can also see that there's another weather system up in the northern Rockies, big swirl up there with some showers and some downpours as well. The radar, we had showers and thunderstorms. Again, this is as of 3:30 Eastern Time. And you see the back edge is now moving across Long Island and off the New Jersey coast. There's a sharp line there where the rain just shuts off. It's mostly done west of New York City outside of a stray shower. We do have some showers and even a few heavier downpours going on off the Great Lakes and in upstate New York and in northern New England. That's the upper trough that we're waiting to come through. That's going to have drier air behind it once that goes by later this evening and the first part of tonight, and then we're going to see our temperatures really fall off. So the marginal risk is pretty much done. We don't have any except for southeastern New England and down in southeastern Virginia and North Carolina. Just have to wait for the front to move on out. Also, you can see the area of risk up in parts of Montana and into Wyoming. Not much going on tomorrow in terms of thunderstorms except over central and south Florida, parts of the Gulf states, the southwest and the northern plains. And then it shifts a bit eastward from there, from the lower lakes down to the lower Mississippi Valley and parts of the Gulf Coast in Florida as we go into Saturday and for Sunday. And as for rainfall amounts, well, we're done with today. So as we look at the rainfall for the next 7 days, giving this a quick update, not really a whole lot here. Generally under a tenth of an inch from Maine all the way down into central Georgia and Alabama and through Louisiana and Texas, the southern plains, bone dry, the west bone dry, light precip up in the western lakes and northern and central plains and middle Mississippi Valley, but heavy precip over central and south Florida. We're looking for several to many inches of rain over the next 7 days because this frontal boundary is going to stall, so that's where all the tropical moisture is, and that's going to be part of the equation down the road. So I'm going to use the wide GFS so you could see everything that's happening here. Our cold front is gone. Big high builds in. Very cool tonight, mid-40s to low 50s. The wind is going to be gusty overnight and during the day tomorrow with Fiona offshore as it passes northwest of Bermuda and then on its way to a landfall in eastern Nova Scotia as a powerful hurricane slash post-tropical cyclone because it's going to make that transition. They're going to get hit pretty hard there, I think, and also into western Newfoundland. Usually when these storms become post-tropical, what happens is the heavy rain goes on the west side and the east side gets the stronger winds. Here in the northeast and mid-Atlantic states, will be only in the some places tomorrow are going to have a hard time getting to 60. Most places should finish up between 60 and 65, and the wind is going to make it feel cooler than that. We'll have another chilly night Friday night into Saturday morning. 40s inland, near or just over 50 near the coast. Upper 60s to low 70s from northeast Virginia to southern New England back to eastern Pennsylvania on Saturday with plenty of sunshine. And then here comes the next front on Sunday. I think we'll be warming up into the 70s. Maybe we could get away with the rain holding off until Sunday late in the day, Sunday or Sunday evening. Then that front moves out. We've got a cold trough, another strong trough coming into the eastern part of the United States, so there might be clouds and some scattered showers around on Monday, but definitely a chilly autumn air for the first part of next week. Now, while I still got this up here, let's look at Fiona. As we said, into eastern Nova Scotia Friday night and Saturday morning after it makes its pass close to Bermuda tonight. It'll probably pass about 75 miles northwest of Bermuda. Bermuda's just going to be right on the edge of that core, and that's why we have the hurricane warnings up. Meanwhile, we're just going to go to the satellite views here. We've got two views to show you. Here's the wider view. So you can see Fiona east of the central Florida coast. It's pretty well defined here. The eye is filled with clouds, but the system, which looked a little ragged early this morning, it looks much better this afternoon on the visible. But what's happening is, if you notice the clouds on the east side, they're blowing from north to south, and that's producing northeasterly shear in the eastern Caribbean, and that's the reason why this tropical wave that we've been following here, you see it right there. You can see the clouds are starting to turn and showing that there's some sort of mid-level circulation there, but what's going to happen is once Fiona pulls north of Bermuda and starts to accelerate northward, that shear is going to disappear, and this system should quickly develop. Here's a close-up view of Fiona, by the way, as it moves on to the northeast. I don't know if you can see Bermuda, that little white spot there that is dropping southward. This is a floater image, which means that the center of the storm stays in the middle of the picture, and then the geography moves, and it's clearly moving north-northeast. And you see where the eye is. Still packing winds of 130 miles an hour sustained, 28.6 north, 70.2 west, north-northeast at 15 is the motion. And you see the Hurricane Center's track. We now have hurricane warnings up, not only for Bermuda. They have tropical storm warnings and a hurricane watch for Bermuda. But you see the hurricane warnings that are up for Atlantic Canada, for Nova Scotia, parts of eastern New Brunswick, and also for Newfoundland. Now, with respect to the next weather system, I'm going to show you the hurricane model forecast tracks. We just have the new ones now, and you see the wider spread that's developed here, as far west as the Yucatan Peninsula, as far east as going into eastern Cuba, and then turning north, and then eventually turning northeast, which is kind of interesting here. The global models reflect that spread, with the GFS the furthest to the west and the European Canadian being furthest to the east. And this is a long ways away from trying to figure out exactly what's going to play out. You can see how the GFS handles it as it develops it approaching Honduras, and then it turns northwestward toward the Yucatan Peninsula, and then ultimately gets into the Gulf of Mexico, and then eventually winds up turning to the northeast. This is an older run of the GFS, and unfortunately it's everybody's going to Tropical Tidbits to try to look at maps for today, so it is crowded and the site is very slow. But trust me when I tell you that the GFS is further east than that today. It's sitting about 150 miles east of that position, and pointing toward the Florida Panhandle, while the European wants to take it down into South Florida. Let's see if I can get lucky here. And there's the position here on the GFS really fast. I'm sorry I apologize for this. Usually I can get the maps on the fly, but it's been like this all day. And you see what the European is just having a tough time loading because it's coming out now and everybody's looking at it. Weather in 5 brought to you by Omni True Value Hardware at 1226 North Wellwood Avenue in West Babylon, New York. 631-756-1125. The best prices in town. OmniTrueValue.com is the website. Is it there? Yeah, it's there. At least one frame of it is. This is, again, I just want to emphasize, this is still well over a week away, and there's a lot going on in the northern part of the jet stream that's going to impact the ultimate track of this after it goes into the Gulf of Mexico. I think the best solution is either it goes up the east side of the Appalachians, or perhaps even goes a bit further east than that, as the European suggests, if the trough off the east coast is strong enough. And today's run wants to take it also right up the coast, just offshore to Nova Scotia. So obviously we're going to be playing games here for the next several days with this, but the key is going to be that northern part of the jet stream, which is especially strong right now, and we haven't seen the troughs in the east like this in quite a few years in the latter part of the month of September. We've been getting these extended summers, and this has been a bit of a change. And again, that circle of death. So I'm just going to let it go. So we're going to leave you here with the U.S. satellite loop. Bill Goodman, meteorologist Bill Goodman from the National Weather Service in Upton, New York on Long Island is going to be with us tonight. Joe Rayo's taking the night off, and that's at 7:30 Eastern Time. So we hope to see you then.